Welcome to the Man Cave. This week's little fireside chat uh, is, again, just an opinion. I'm going to do one of these probably every week. A little 2 cents of mine. And like I mentioned in the last one of these, I did not spell the word sense wrong. And I think you'll figure out why. But this one probably isn't for kids. Not like my reviews and stuff like that. But quite honestly, I think the human race is fucking doomed. I see it every day. People just seem to be getting lazier and less motivated. Nobody's got any sense to basically, they can hardly wipe their own asses anymore. And I see it all the time. You know, as a middle-aged guy now, I'm sure that my parents probably said the same shit about my generation when I was younger, and maybe that was true to them. But I always remember, I've had a job since I was like 12, worked on the local farm. No, it wasn't an 80-hour-a-week job, but it was after school. I'd go down and help do whatever, and I basically have worked ever since. You know, I started working full time as soon as I graduated high school. No, not educated beyond that. I'm not some college professor sitting here talking to you. Just a guy who's worked his whole life. Um, no, I haven't been on roofs shingling every day for the last 35 years. I haven't been on high rises building, you know, skyscrapers. You know, I've had some decent jobs. I've got a decent job now, but I go there every day and I do my stuff and I pay my bills, and it's just so disheartening to see the younger generation just wandering around. Um, no particular drive to do anything. They'll just simply wait for other people to do stuff. And I think there's going to come a point in time where we're not going to be able to feed ourselves. And by that I mean, you know, yeah, we've got a little hobby garden that we do in the summer. But as anybody that's got a garden knows, that's usually not shit. Right? You're going to the store, you're buying 98% of your food. And, you know, we depend on the farmers to do so much. And they do. Farmers are ambitious. And the local guys around me, they're out working all the time. You know, they're working 7 days a week. But what happens if the general population, the way we are, and the so-called working class here, the blue collar people that go out and work a 40-hour job, come home. I see all of them getting just lazier and slower, and nobody gives a shit. If that starts going and spreading out to people like farmers and things like that, we're fucked. We're gonna start starving. It's gonna become a dog eat dog world, and it's, to me, I'm not gonna get in any kind of politics. I don't talk about politics, so I've seen this happening for years, not just with the current, regime in the White House or the previous or the one before that. It's just that I've noticed this getting worse and worse and worse. When I mentioned the generation above me, my parents, they worked all the time. They worked their asses off. They worked harder jobs than I have now, and they always paid the bills. And there may have been a time in my late teens, early 20s where I was lazy and didn't want to get my ass out of bed and wasn't the most ambitious, but I did. And now I just see so many people just waiting for somebody to do something, and it's anything. It's you go to work, you do a job, and 6 people will stand there and watch one guy do it, and they'll all just wait until he finishes it. And I see the same thing with with the kids these days. And I hate to be that dude, It says all these goddamn kids. I walked uphill both ways to school in 4 feet of snow when I was a kid. I didn't. That wasn't me. But I just wonder about the current generation of, let's say, 20 somethings. You know, they're barely hanging on from what I'm seeing. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. And I just wonder what their children are going to be like. There's so much dependence on others, and that goes all the way up, from them depending on their parents for shit all the time to the being on welfare. Which, you know what, if you need it, if you got something has happened in your life and you need that, by all means, you know, go apply for assistance, get some help. But god damn it, it doesn't mean you fucking live off that shit for your whole life. And I know people that have done that. People my age who have lived off the system their whole goddamn life. And somebody mutters a word about taking something away, and oh my god, it's like you pissed in their Wheaties. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're not doomed. That'd be DOOMED. So that's my 2 cents for this week. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, tell me to stick it in my ass. Go ahead and subscribe if you want. I'll try and do one of these little things once a week. Hopefully that wasn't too long-winded. Have a good day.